Three, two, one. What up? What up? What's Hawkin? What's Hawkin? Starting over for a new intro. This will get cut. Don't trip. Three, two, one. What's Hawkin? What's Hawkin? It's your boy Tay P, aka Tayasin, back with our second installment of the NFC schedule breakdown by team. This is episode two. Shout out to everyone who has already tapped in to episode one, where we're ranking all NFL teams based on their schedule and its importance to our defending champion, Seattle Seahawks. Just to quickly recap, the teams in episode one, none of them face the Seahawks this upcoming season, nor do they face any NFC West opponent. So they literally could go 17 and 0. They literally could go 0 and 17. It wouldn't have a single impact, or very low impact, I should say. We'd have to go through some deep levels of tiebreakers to get to some importance of those teams. So that's why they were ranked uh, 25 through 32, the bottom tier of our list. So we're going to the second installment. In episode two, we will showcase 12 teams, and each one of these 12 teams face at least one NFC West opponent, including our Seahawks. And so we'll break down the importance of these schedules, who we're rooting for, when we're rooting for them, and of course, who we're rooting against when they face the Seahawks. So clocking in at number 27, we have the New York Jets. The New York Jets will face the Cardinals in Week 15. That is literally the only significance to the New York Jets schedule at all. If they weren't facing the Cardinals, they easily could have been the number 32 team in terms of importance to our Seahawks. But they faced the Cardinals, so we, whether you find that fortunate or unfortunate, have a team to root for in Week 15 in the Jets. Um, Clocking in at number 23, a team that's seen a lot of turnover. So this team will look a lot different personnel wise than they did last year, including coach, the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have all of their divisional matchups after their week 6 bye week. This includes finishing the season with back to back games against the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. Uh, we will be rooting for the Miami Dolphins early in the season. Week 2 of the schedule, they do have a game at San Francisco, or should I say Santa Clara, or should I say Lumen Field Jr. against the 49ers. So we will be able to root for the Miami Dolphins. Maybe they can get off to a hot, surprising start, and at least it benefit the Seahawks in one way or another. But clocking in at 22 on our list, this is the first playoff team of this tiered um, list of opponents or potential opponents. We've got the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so the Buffalo Bills, five of their divisional matchups come after their bye week. So they do have one prior to the bye week in week 7, but they have back to back games to finish their regular season against the aforementioned Miami Dolphins as well as the New York Jets. So pretty pretty cake schedule to finish your season against the division opponents that, quite frankly, um, aren't necessarily the scariest. But they also have three straight home games early in the season. Um, Weeks 2 through 4. So that's 3 weeks, almost a month of not having to pack a bag, not having to sleep out of a hotel bed or eat hotel food. And one of those matchups is against the Patriots. They do have 3 games this season where they play off of at least 10 days of rest. In week 3, they got the Chargers, where they'll be well rested. In week 8, they got the Ravens, and of course that's coming off of their Week 7 bye week. And in Week 13 they face the Patriots. We're Bills fans in Week 5, where they face the Rams on Monday Night Football. So put that on your schedule, or keep that in your memory bank. There's a primetime game, Week 5. They face the Rams. I believe that's a home game for the Rams, at SoFi. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter if they were playing on Pluto. We are Bills fans, Bills Mafia, Week 5. Clocking in at the 21 spot, we've got the New Orleans Saints. Now, the New Orleans Saints have a very interesting schedule this year. They actually have two homestands, or excuse me, two homestands where they have three straight games. So in weeks 8 through, or excuse me, weeks 5 through 8, they have home games, including a divisional game versus Atlanta. But then in weeks 7 through 10, which also includes their week 8 bye week. Okay, follow me now. That's 4 weeks where they don't have to travel. And they have 3 weeks prior to that where they don't have to travel. So we're talking about two stints where it's almost a month. And in the case of the second stint, well over a month where they don't have to travel. And in that second stint, um, they will face um, the Carolina Panthers as a divisional opponent within that 3-game homestand. Now, 5 of their divisional matchups do come after that Week 8 bye week, including 4 of their last 5 games of the season. So almost the last 25%, 30% of their season will be divisional games, and we all know divisional games matter almost twice as much, sometimes even more than that. But as far as when we root for the Saints, Week 16, they will host the Arizona Cardinals. Um, so we'll be Saints fans towards the end of the season. My prediction, honestly, by that point in the season, it may not necessarily even matter one way or another whether or not the Cardinals win or lose that game. But to no avail. We'll never necessarily, well, I should say almost never, root for the Cardinals. Moving in at number 20, we've got the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Atlanta Falcons have 4 primetime games this year against the Packers, Saints, Ravens, and Bengals, including back to back to back primetime games. They've got a Thursday night game, Monday night game, and a Sunday night game early in the season. Weeks 3 through 5, each one of those games are a primetime game. They've got 3 straight home games, weeks 5 through 7, which includes a week 7 matchup versus the 49ers. So in that 3-game homestand, we will be rooting for the Falcons in week 7 against the 49ers. Now, their last 3 games of the regular season are all divisional games. Everyone's going to have a divisional game to end the season, obviously, but they've got 3 back to back to back to finish the season. So it will be pretty spectacular to see who comes out of the NFC South in regards to who is going to be the divisional game. If you remember last season, it came down to the last game of the season to determine whether it was going to be the Falcons, the Buccaneers, or the Panthers. And obviously, because of tiebreakers, it ended up being the Panthers. Speaking of divisional opponents, clocking in at 19, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for their divisional matchups, come after their Week 10 bye week, which includes a road game um, against the New Orleans Saints to finish the regular season. They too have a 3-game homestand weeks 2 through 4, so early in the season, and we will be rooting for the Bucks uh, in Week 17 as they host the LA Rams. So hopefully the Bucks have at least a strong enough season, at least that section of the season, to call it the back half of the season, where they're catching stride in beating our divisional rival, the Rams. At 18, we've got the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions will face all of their divisional opponents after week 6, which includes back-to-back home games versus the Packers and the Vikings immediately after their bye week. And they also have back-to-back road games against the Bears and the Packers to finish the regular season. So they're going to get their divisional matchups all after the bye week, after they've been well rested. We'll see whether or not um, or how much injury will play a factor. It obviously played a huge factor in previous seasons for the Lions, but having those back-to-back matchups that are divisional just stacks the deck even the more. Now they do have 6 primetime games this season. They face the Bills, the Panthers, the Patriots, Bears, Vikings, and the Giants. And one of those includes the Germany game, the international game in Germany against the Patriots. Something that is in their favor, they have 3 games where they're playing off of at least 10 days worth of rest. Early in the season, week 3, they'll have a lot of rest against the Jets. Not that they'll need it. In week 14, um, they'll have the Packers, and in week 13, I don't know why that's not in chronological order, but they have at least 10 days of rest against the Falcons. We will be personally rooting against, or rooting for rather, the Lions in week 5 because they face the Cardinals. Again, we'll get more into the Cardinals schedule when we make it that far down the list. But at this point, when we hear the Cardinals on today's episode, just know we want them to lose. Clocking in at 17, the 17th most important schedule to the Seahawks are the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have quite a bit of controversy that they're dealing with currently between uh, their new quarterback, Kyler Murray, and their previous or current quarterback in JJ McCarthy, who's the starter still remains to be seen, but all signs to me point to Kyler Murray. Why else would you sign him? But that's not our dog. What is something for us to keep an eye on is that they have 4 of their divisional matchups after their week 6 bye week, including hosting the Bears to finish their season. They've got 3 straight home games later in the season, weeks 11 through 13. But this does include the Mexico City game against the 49ers. So it's a fraudulent home game because, as we discussed, you're not playing at home when you're playing internationally. But they are the home team for that matchup, and we're rooting for them to defeat the 49ers. At 16, another playoff team from last year, the Green Bay Packers. Now, first, let's just point this out. They've got 7 primetime games next year. We're going to see a lot of uh, Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, Christian Watson. Still remains to be seen how much of those games we'll see Jacobs. But again, that's not our dog. But 7 primetime games against the Falcons, Cowboys, Panthers, Rams, Bills, Bears, and Texans. This includes a Sunday night matchup in week 6 against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, 5 of their games this year will be played on at least 10 days worth of rest. They are one of the teams who has the most games played off of 10 plus days of rest or more. They faced the Buccaneers in week 4 off of significant rest. They got the Patriots. You'll love this one. They've got the Rams coming off of a significant rest in week 11, where we will be cheeseheads, obviously. The Saints in week 13 and the Texans in week 17. We care nothing about those other games. They better win in week 11 against the Rams. That is a home game for the Rams, but that makes it even the more sweeter when the Packers beat them. 4 of their divisional matchups come before their bye week in week 12. which includes a season opener where they visit the Minnesota Vikings. So they get a lot of their divisional games out of the way prior to their bye week. Moving on, we've got the Patriots at 15. Again, another playoff team, one that we obviously are familiar with as we defeated them in the Super Bowl. They've got 6 primetime games this season. One against the Seahawks, obviously, to start the season. But they've also got the Bears, Lions, Chargers, Vikings, and Chiefs. That season opener is here in Seattle, where the banner will be raised or dropped. That's banner night. They've got 4 of their games playing off of at least 10 days rest. And obviously, we don't count week 1 because everyone has the same amount of rest, or at least similar amount of rest. It's the first game. So these 4 games are after week 1. So it starts in week 2 because obviously that first game will be played on a Wednesday. They won't play again until that following Sunday against the Steelers. But they also have the Dolphins in week 8, the Chargers in week 12, and the Chiefs in week 15. So the Patriots, I don't know what the rest differential is, meaning I don't know how much more, if at all, days of rest they have against their opponents each week. I would assume the Steelers they at least have 1 day, right? But we all know that most of the games are played on Sunday, so that's 4, if my math is right, 4 rest day advantage over the Steelers in week 2. But the remaining weeks, I'm not sure what the differential is, but differential or not, having 10 days as opposed to 7 days, which is the typical, right? Playing every Sunday. Those 3 extra days of rest, those are also 3 extra preparation days for your coaching staff, 3 extra film days for you to study as a player. So significant advantage there to be able to not only heal your body, rest your body, but get that extra preparation in. Moving on though, clocking in at 14, we've got the Carolina Panthers, another playoff team. You're starting to see a theme here with these teams as we start from ranked 16 and beyond, at least in today's episode. So at 14, we've got the Carolina Panthers. 5 of their divisional matchups are after their week 5 bye week, which is not shocking, right? They've got an early bye week, so most of their divisional matchups are after that. This includes a home game versus Atlanta to finish the season. So they finish the season at home, which is an advantage. Um, they've got 3 primetime games upcoming season. One against the Lions, against the Packers, another against the Buccaneers. This includes a Week 12 matchup against the Buccaneers, and we are not Carolina Panthers fans at all this year, but specifically when they face the Seahawks, and when we face them, it slips my mind, but it doesn't matter because obviously still have to get to the Seahawks schedule itself. So we faced the Panthers this year, just like we faced the Patriots. We want both teams to lose that matchup. Moving on to um, the 13th spot, we've got the Chicago Bears, another playoff team from last year. They've got 4 divisional matchups after their Week 10 bye week, including 3 consecutive games to end the season. So the last 3 games are all divisional rivals. Um, they've got 3 straight home games early in the season, weeks 2 through 4, starting with their first divisional matchup against the Vikings in Week 2. Um, They've got 3 games where they play off of 10 days 10 days of rest or more. In that first instance is week 8 against our Seattle Seahawks. They also have that advantage in week 11 against the Saints and week 13 against the Jaguars. So in week 8, and that's a Monday night football game. I don't know what the rest differential is for the Seahawks either, but that'll come up obviously when we discuss the Seahawks um, schedule in more depth. So that was 12 teams for episode two. The last three obviously uh, were the most significant because they play our Seattle Seahawks. And that should be the theme going forward when we go through episodes three and beyond. So again, every team has some significance to our team, even the ones that don't face us or do not face any of our divisional rivals. Those teams, obviously, in episode one, their significance to our schedule is just less on the lower on the totem pole. These teams, we kick it up a little bit because if the opponents for the Rams, the 49ers, and the Cardinals, if they do what we need them to do, it's only an advantage to us. And obviously, we take care of business against the three teams, or is it four? Three teams, the Patriots, the Panthers, and the Bears. We take care of business of those teams. That's three wins on our schedule, in addition to the six divisional games that we need to go after. Right, so we win all those games. We're already at 9 wins, and six of those wins count as two because they're divisional rival games. Right, so you can even count that, from a standings perspective, as 15 wins. I know it's a little confusing with the math. We'll get into a little bit deeper pause later, but yeah, this is episode two. Please make sure that you follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, um, TikTok. Everything is at West Hawkin 12. Obviously, click the like button and the subscribe button here on YouTube to keep up with the latest whenever we go live, whenever we post new episodes. Hopefully, you're liking this theme. There is a little campaign going on along with these schedule breakdowns where we kind of go through memory lane and look at matchups in the past against each of these opponents, whether we face them this season or not, and look at the most recent matchup against each of these teams as well. So hopefully you're getting a kick out of that. Please like, comment, share it with your friends, talk about it in the comments. Tell me if I'm doing a bad job, good job, doesn't matter. We like all the engagement because it just helps us get better. But until next time, we will be back, obviously, for episode three of this NFL season schedule breakdown by team. But until then, what's hawking? It's your boy, Tayasin. Peace.